Welcome to Let Me Ask You This. I'm your host, Tom. Thank you for joining me while I interview individuals about their life and their experience. If you like this show, please make sure you subscribe and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I hope you enjoy the show. $29, I had to double check. Dude, I mess it up almost every time. Like, every time I go to start it, I say the wrong number, and the person just looks at me, they're like, you just said it. I'm like, I know, I'm just bad. Alright. Hey guys, welcome to episode 29 of Let Me Ask You This. Today, I have Zach. Zach has been a longtime family friend. First, I would like to thank you for your service. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so what you been up to, you know? Haven't seen you in a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So, thank you for your sacrifice as well. It's always good to start off that acknowledging that we're both veterans. So, I guess to give you the rundown, I'm going into the financial industry.
Yep.
So that's a little bit different for me coming out of like 10 or 12 years of sales. So I used to be a salesman. Right now, things are really, really good. The company that I landed in is working out for me.
Good.
Yeah, a lot of benefits that I could appreciate, and looks like there's some opportunity to grow. So the newest thing for me is probably the direction of my career.
Okay.
Working in finance, you know, that just means basically for anyone who doesn't know is like retirements and like stock market, Wall Street type of stuff. So I'm going through that training right now. I still haven't gotten my license or anything. I'm working through 3 qualification tests and then a few more classes, and then I would be what they would consider, what the industry would consider as a trader or a stockbroker.
So you take 3 tests, correct?
Yeah.
And you just passed the first 2, right?
First 2.
Yeah. Man, it's that last stretch, like you can feel it and you're almost there. And so previously my wife went through the same thing. The second one was the hardest one, correct? It was, they kind of just threw it at you and...
Yeah, so the second one is what gets you into the industry. So your whole license is based off the second test.
Okay.
The first test is a warm-up, if you will. It's kind of like in sports, like you and I are sports guys. You know, the minor leagues, or maybe even college, maybe playing college or high school ball. So, you know, you get your fundamentals down, you get your feet underneath you, you get in the proper technique, and you're ready to play every week.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what that first test was for us. Learning that basic knowledge, getting your foundation underneath you. And then the second test is taking all of that knowledge and bringing it to the next level, where you're not just required to study something, get it into your brain, and then dump it out. They can ask you questions in a way where you need to know how it's correct or how it's wrong, so they could ask you from the front to the back or the back to the front, and you need to know how that whole process works. So it's a qualification test.
Okay.
So it's definitely a step up. It was a very proud moment when I was able to pass that test. That test is the one that basically gets you into the industry. It's the basic industry knowledge. And then, so that from there's one more test, which isn't as important, and it's totally different. So the first 2 tests definitely relate to the industry that you're going to be working in.
Yep.
You've learned all of the industry terminology, and you've been focused on, you know, studying X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3 for the last 4 or 5 months. This third test that I'm currently studying to take, which will be next Friday, is all about laws and regulation.
Okay.
So now they've taught you a whole new industry, and now they're asking you to understand like legal terms and lawyer speak. And
well, you kind of have to, because like if somebody comes in and like, I want to make this trade, and you're like, I don't know if that's legal. Like, you kind of have to know some of it. It makes sense.
Absolutely. So you definitely want to know why they have it, and it's good to have it in the back of your mind, because if you do make a mistake, there's two types of law that they consider. So they have civil law, which is basically you and your neighbor have a property dispute. Your fence is on my side of the fence. I'm going to take you to civil court, and I'm going to sue you for every year that you had your fence on my property. And then the judge says you owe him $1,000. Civil court, you're not going to jail, you're not going to prison. And that's kind of like what they're teaching us is if you don't make the mistake on purpose. So if you don't have the thought and the intention in your mind to willfully hurt someone, it could just be like a little fine.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then there's the other part that they're teaching you where they're like, if you go out into someone's financial account or their retirement and you do something willingly with prior knowledge and you thought about it and they can prove that, you could potentially be fined and you could have criminal liability.
Yeah.
So the whole industry is regulated. It's federally regulated. So there's organizations that report to the federal government, and they enforce the rules of the financial industry. So if you do something willfully wrong, you could potentially go to federal prison where you would...
That'd be fun.
Not for small built men like you and I.
No. But the 3 tests, do you have to pass all 3 to continue through? Because like for me, I do HVAC. With refrigerant, you don't need all 3 licensing. You can have just the first one, the first, second, or all 3.
Okay.
And like gas licensing is the same way. You can just like have the first one or the second or the third. And
so if what you're saying is if you had the first license, you could still do refrigerant.
Yep.
If you have the second, 2, and 3, does that open up more possibilities of the type? Right. So for us and the roles that I'm currently in, where I would be a trader, you have to have all 3.
Okay.
Now, if I potentially did not pass all 3 tests, they've invested a lot of time and money into having us. Study and work for them. So I think there's other avenues where if you're not quite cut out of the cloth to be a trader or a stockbroker, but they see value in maybe you're a hard worker or maybe a previous career of
they'll try to find a different avenue.
Maybe find a different avenue. The company is huge. So
yeah, it's a pretty big company.
Pretty big company. It's been around for 75 years. So that's cool to know, but yeah, my focus right now is getting through these 3 tests so I can have that avenue where you could potentially become an advisor and make more money. It's not all about the money, but there's a lot of opportunity in where I'm working now. So that's kind of the whole encompassing what am I doing right now. It's been reinventing my career.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I know it can be difficult, but sometimes reinventing your career is what you need. I mean,
absolutely.
My wife just went through it, and she's loving it. She's a lot happier and makes me happy, so that's great. But before you were saying that you were a salesman and you sold solar panels, correct?
Yeah, I sold solar panels for quite a while.
So how much do you actually know about solar? Like, have they changed too much since you were selling them?
No. So everything about solar, it's called photovoltaic.
Okay.
So really all that is just a fancy word for sun energy.
Okay.
Solar panels have been around for like 80 years.
Really?
Yep. When I used to teach my other salesmen, because I was a regional sales manager, so I made it pretty good career in selling solar, I would teach the history of solar so that your salespeople, they'll come up against homeowners who think they know everything. Yeah. And you have to give them examples of how they don't know everything and how you're the expert. So a lot of people don't know this. There was electric cars in the late 20s, early 30s.
I did not know that.
Someone built a car with batteries in it. Then someone actually was smart enough to have a solar panel back in probably the mid-30s, going right maybe into the beginning of World War I. And they combined the 2 technologies, and there was a huge solar panel on the top of this, I don't know, Ford Model A or Model T or whatever the big car was back and in the
I'm 30s. Googling this.
Yeah, go ahead and Google it. And And they put solar panel on a car back in the day, and it didn't get powered for a long time. But really, what the changes are in solar panels is the efficiency of the panel. So as we get better technologies, we figure out better ways to store the energy or produce it. And over the years, the panels have become more efficient for their life, so they won't die as quickly as they used to. So a solar panel maybe 40 years ago was 70% efficiency.
Yeah.
And what that means is that it'll be producing 100% of what it's supposed to, for the first couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But over the life of it, as it gets weaker and weaker, it doesn't produce 100% of the wattage that it did.
Okay.
So later in its life, if you start averaging that it's going down, and the average life of a solar panel used to be 70% efficiency, at some point it dropped below 70%, down into the 50s or 40s, because you're averaging every year. So at one point it's 190. So the technology for solar panels, the resources and the products that they use to make them are getting better. And and then the efficiency becomes better, so the product lasts longer.
So yeah, it said in 55.
No, 1955.
Yeah, 1955 in Chicago. That was the first solar panel vehicle. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it took all those years of someone figuring out a battery-powered car back in the 20s or 30s or the 40s leading into the 50s, and then the first solar panels coming around. So it was shortly after World War I, not before World War I, but...
Close enough.
Yeah, I mean, 10 years difference, what's that? I mean, I'm 40 now, but you could call me 30. I wouldn't be upset with it.
So solar panels... So I'm really big on more of a nuclear person. That's just
sure.
Nuclear power to me has always it's a little scary because like people mess up, but like if we actually follow the regulations that like they put in place, a lot of these like meltdowns wouldn't, like Chernobyl wouldn't have happened if they.
Did you watch that?
Oh yes,
yeah, I watched
Chernobyl was a great TV series. That was amazing,
and it was definitely dramatic.
Oh yeah,
over dramatized. But you're 100%. If you take people's ego out of what's supposed to happen in those situations, right? They were trying to run tests on that power plant, and his ego and probably his livelihood, his job was on the line. But if you take that out and you follow the science behind it, nuclear power is like one of the most efficient,
cleanest,
and clean it exactly.
So I was watching this doc. I forget the name of it. I'm terrible with names.
Sorry.
But they were talking about the nuclear waste, and they just have a room full. It's a football field, 100 yards long, and there was about 6 or 7 drums in it, and they're like, yeah, this is about after 100 years of just nuclear waste. And they were like, we have this room for it, and we just only have 6 or 7 drums. And it's just like, oh, okay. And now even in Japan, nuclear waste, they're finding ways to make like batteries out of. Like never dying batteries. And they're learning to make like these miniature nuclear power plants to put in people's backyards to just power a house so they're off a grid.
Yeah.
I mean, sounds dangerous as having a nuclear power plant in your backyard, but after a while, if the science is there and it's good enough, I don't see why not.
No, I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. I mean, there have been a couple of instances where around the world, you have that Chernobyl thing that we were talking about, and that was like human caused. But then you look at the power plant in Japan, the one I think on the coast when they had that tsunami.
Yep.
Right? So like Mother Nature now gets involved, and it's like you have to have all these contingencies of how that nuclear waste isn't going to get out, because by all...
Yeah, something can happen.
Something can happen, right? Like, yeah, you hear about the human era. I think there was... I think something happened with a nuclear power plant in like Pennsylvania. They had a place called 3 Mile Island or something.
Okay, yep.
And I don't know what happened with that, but I know it was like close enough to like communities where they were like, well, it got a little too close to melting down, so now we want it shut down. So, yeah, I think when it comes to harnessing energy, I think a lot of the weather patterns, and I don't want to say global warming because I don't want people to think I'm politicizing anything, but I do think that, you know, us as a human race trying to harness energy the way that we do, burning fossil fuels, burning coal, things like that, have created a change.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, no. So like you said, not to make it like political, but like global warming is a thing, right. And the whole question is, like, the reason why I don't like really talking about global warming is because the people who are causing it are telling me to stop using plastic straws and that will save the earth.
Right.
And it's like, no, it's you. You're the problem, not me. Like, I try my best. Like, I don't use plastic bags. Like sandwich bags. Like, I use reusable bags, and I use a reusable water bottle. And like, but like, I'm not. It's not me. It's you. You guys are dumping all these toxins into the water. It's you.
And you're exactly right. Like the one thing that I told myself when I was driving over here, and I was like, all right, I'm doing Tommy's podcast. I need to not swear a lot. I probably shouldn't talk about politics and religion, but it seems like we're going down this road. So, like, when you're talking about these corporations, their lines of production, they have to use so much energy to produce whatever it is that they are. So then there's the cost of them doing business, and the way that some of these companies get out from underneath of the rules of belching out all of these toxins into the environment, whether you're dumping it into the ocean or it's going into the air or whatever, is that they lobby for politicians in America, and then there's rules and laws that are written for these corporations to be able to just skirt the outside of what's right and what's wrong based off the written law. And then people like you and I, just small, regular, hometown American guys who go to work every day, we have to pay our taxes. And, you know, if you don't have your registration on your car, you get pulled over, they take your car, they impound it, now you got to go to court. And it's like they'll follow up on the rules for 370 million Americans, but like the 1,000 billionaires or the 100 billionaires that are in the United States that can, you know, line a few pockets with some money or grease a couple wheels and make other people happy. That's where I didn't want to get into like talking about politics, but we're bringing it up because of the energy thing, and a lot of it does come from, like you said,
it comes from politics.
It does, and it goes back to those large corporations that lobby politicians to get certain things passed. So that was my little spiel right now. If you drag me down the politics corridor again, I might go down with it further, but I think that's as far as I'll go with the energy right now. Yeah,
but like even if we get off of politics and go to like even like celebrities that tell us like they'll take a private jet to like the Grammys and be like, you guys need to stop polluting, and it's like, you just took a private jet. You're great. You're great. It's amazing. I love it. There's just a bunch of hypocrites.
Why didn't you take a hot air balloon?
I want to go in a hot air balloon.
Those look fun, right?
Yeah. I actually want to skydive, and I'd much rather try to skydive out of a hot air balloon than
I think you have to have a special license.
That would be crazy.
I think that's a special license, though. You have
maybe.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that because that'd be fun.
That would be putting both of them together. I think I'm past the age of where I want to skydive. Like, I think when I was younger, I wanted to do it. I never got around to doing it.
Would you do like one of those wind tunnel things?
Have you seen those? Those look awesome. Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah, you just put a wing. I want to try a wingsuit too, and I don't want to try like. So I was actually talking to my brother about this because my brother was like, "Oh, come snowshoeing with me." I was like, "No, that's not really that fun." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, do you want to go hiking?" I was like, "Sure, I'll go hiking." Like, I want to try like rock climbing though, not like indoor rock climbing. Like, I want to rock climb that if you like mess up, you're going to die. Like,
okay.
I like doing that type of stuff that gives you like that thrill that, oh my god, I'm gonna get hurt if I mess up.
Yeah.
Like, I've always done stuff like that, and just lately I haven't really. I've been kind of a bit more conservative, and I've started Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. That's fun.
That's sick.
Yeah. So, so right now I'm only going either once or twice a week. I'm still getting back into it.
Okay.
I've gained a lot of weight since I've done an active sport.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, by the end of the practice, I'm dead, and like even at the end of work, I'm like breathing heavy. I'm like, oh my god, I weigh so much now. This is terrible. But it's great because I want to weigh this much. I want to weigh more.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I like doing dangerous stuff. It definitely gives the thrill of living.
It does, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. I when I was younger, and not that I'm old, and I'm not that I'm that much older than you, but I was definitely a thrill seeker when I was younger. I went through a lot of those instances where you look back with your friends and you're like, wow, I'm glad we made it through that and we came out without a scratch, you know. So I was definitely a thrill seeker in my younger days. I think it's different for everyone, though. Some people grow out of it just because that's the progression of their life. Some people are forced to grow out of it because maybe they have a kid, or you know, there's someone else out there that they care about, that maybe they're like, oh, you know, my risk-seeking adventures aren't as important, like me being there for someone else. Like I think it's very selective as far as when.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of like that, like before I joined the military, because I was all like, hoorah, I'm going to go be a Marine.
Yeah.
And Emily was like, no, you're not. And I was like, you're right, I'm not. That's stupid. And she was like, yeah, it is. And I was like, good job. I'm going to do the Air Force. And she was like, there you go. And I was like,
yeah.
Somebody was thinking.
Yeah.
Wasn't me. Right. I was going to be a Marine.
Yeah. Good thing she was there. She was your safety net.
Yeah. That was bad. That was close. I was. So pretty much like the whole story with that, she was kind of just like, you need to do something with your life. And I was like, you're right. I do. I'm going to go to the recruiter's office. Like, I didn't really think about it too much. I was like, all right, what's the male equivalent of being a stripper? Military.
Okay.
I need money. And I need a life, military. They'll take care of me. I'll have a roof over my head. But no, it was fun. I enjoyed it. For the most part.
You went to some pretty cool places.
I went to
Africa.
I've
never been to Africa. I've been to Europe.
It was fun. So we went. Man, the whole trip was fun. I left from Illinois, went to North Carolina, and in North Carolina we had about it felt like a 12-hour layover. I think it was an 8-hour layover. But they wouldn't let us leave the airport once we got there. And every time we were like, hey, what's an update on the plane? Like, it was a military plane. They were like, oh, yeah, hour. Okay, thanks. So we go back, we sit down, and then an hour passes, and then they'll come up. Oh, just so you guys know, it's going to be an hour until the plane gets here. And they just kept saying an hour every time. So you just see everybody, like, in uniform, like, just passed out in this airport. And then they're like, the plane's boarding and leaving within an hour. And it's like, are you serious? And now we're rushing onto the plane. But once we, like, get going, it was an easy flight. We fell asleep. I was over the ocean when we fell asleep, woke up. I believe I was in Italy.
Okay.
I was really mad. Everybody was like, yeah, the plane's gonna break down, don't worry. Like we're going to all these nice places, the plane's gonna break down. The plane didn't break down once. I was so mad. It broke down when they were coming back to pick us up, like at the end of the deployment.
Of course.
Yeah, like, but when they picked us up, it didn't no. But I think it was Bangor. We stopped in Bangor, I believe it was. But as soon as they opened the plane door, like, you just tasted nothing but sand. Like, there was sand in my eyes, the sand in my mouth, my nose, and I was just tasting dirt. Yeah. I bought a shot glass because I was like, I endured that terribleness. So I bought a shot glass there. But Africa was pretty cool. That's where I got those 2 pictures. They were hand painted by some of the villagers there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what part of Africa was that?
I was in Kenya.
Kenya.
You know, the news talked about it. I was at Manda Bay. They got attacked not too long after I was there. So, like, it was all over the news. When we were there, it was like, oh, yeah, hush, hush, top secret. And then, like, we left. Another group came. They got attacked. And then it was just, like, all over the news. And we're like, oh, yeah, that's a good way to, like, just tell people what's going on. That's cool.
What, were you at, like, a consulate, like a base?
We're at a FOB. It was
forward operating base?
Yeah, forward operating base.
Yeah.
So it was, if I remember correctly, it was based out of Djibouti, Africa. That's where we flew into. And then from Djibouti, Africa, we went to Kenya. The camp that we were at was called Camp Simba.
Oh my gosh.
The Lion King was, like, not made in Kenya, but made after Kenya, like, because it's not a real movie, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
It's not.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that was clear.
I've only seen the live action.
You haven't seen the cartoon?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, what? But no, the cartoon is based in Kenya.
Yeah,
there we go. That's how you say that.
Yeah.
And then, so it was called Camp Simba, and we saw a lot of water buffalo. A lot of just, I don't know what they were called. They were just little tiny monkeys. A lot of baboons. I saw a dog fight a baboon. That was cool. The dog lost. Baboons are crazy.
Yeah, they are. I got attacked by monkeys on the Rock of Gibraltar. Yeah. I won't stomp your story, but go ahead. I'll tell you monkeys. Yeah, I'll tell you my monkey story next.
No, the worst monkey story I have is, so out there, it wasn't like that great of food because, like, I'm in the middle of Africa, and we were having these chili cheese steaks, and it was just like shredded cheap steak with just cheese on it, but it tasted amazing because I haven't had, like, decent food in a little bit, and a monkey ran up and took it, and the chief looked at me, and he was like, "You ain't let a monkey punk your ass like that?" And I was like, "I'm not supposed to fight the monkeys." Like, he's like, "You're just gonna let a monkey punk your ass like that?" So I bought a slingshot the next day. And, oh yeah, me and the monkeys went at it for a while. And then at the end, we were, like, last month, I was like, "I'm leaving. I don't care. Have food." And so we were just feeding the monkeys. Monkeys eat peanut butter like dogs. It gets stuck to the roof of their mouth. I gave them a Girl Scout cookie that had peanut butter in it, and they were just... Yeah, it was hilarious because he didn't have, like, water or anything, so he was... And, like, he just sat there and just stared at me while he just, like, licked the top of his mouth. And I was like, yep, this is hilarious. This is great. They'll eat anything. I gave one an apple. It was bigger than his head. I'd never seen a monkey's jaw open so wide. So, like, because he couldn't hold it while he walked, he had to, like, run because other monkeys were trying to take
smaller monkeys.
Yeah, so he, like, somehow, like, unlatched his chin and, like, sunk his teeth into it so he could run away. Oh, it was crazy. Monkeys are cool. So how'd you get attacked?
So, I'm not a fan of monkeys. I don't think monkeys are cool. And I can't believe you and I have, like, a very similar story where we got punked by monkeys for food.
They love food.
They are food motivated. And if they see a sign of weakness, they will take it. And I guess you and I are weaker than small primates. But, so, before I went into the Coast Guard my freshman year, I was in college, state school in Massachusetts called Mass Maritime Academy. You learn how to sail boats. I thought my whole career that I was going to live on the ocean and sail boats, whether it was Coast Guard or Navy or just ship out and be a merchant marine, whatever. So my freshman year, when I went there, you had a mandatory semester at sea.
Okay.
So we actually took a ship with a steam engine, and we had engineers, like, keeping
the cool.
Yep, and we sailed from the Cape Cod in Massachusetts, Buzzards Bay, all the way to Europe.
What? So how long did that take?
For 13 days.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's bad when you're day 2 and you're day 12. It's the worst, dude. There's no land. There's no lights. You're also traveling in the North Atlantic.
So it's cold.
Cold, and we left in winter, and that's when the North Atlantic is, like, its most active for storms. So we encountered like ocean waves of like 20 to 30 feet. People just seasick. The whole, like, people who had never been on boats. So they're sailing like 700 kids that are like between 19 and 22 out of America across the ocean. So anyway, we went to Europe, and the first place we went, we were going to enter the Mediterranean Sea. Mm-hmm. So that's where the southernmost point of Spain meets the most northern part of Africa.
Yep.
And there's probably like, I don't know, a couple of miles between them. And you sail through the Strait of Gibraltar. And they have a port there on the Rock of Gibraltar. It's funny. It's on Spanish land, but I think it's owned by the English still.
Okay.
Europe is messed up.
Yeah.
The English took over like
Everything.
90% of the world except for like the Arctic Circle and Antarctica. And we got to the Rock of Gibraltar, and it was our first port. So we're coming off of a boat. You've been on the boat for 13 days. You finally get some leave. You're in your shorts. You're in your civilian clothes. And you don't know anything about where you're going.
Nope.
Because you didn't do research.
Why would you?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no one gave you like, oh, here's the rundown about Gibraltar. So it's not a place that you would like go on vacation. It's not like a thing.
No.
But we went there. And,
Who chose the destination?
The school.
Okay.
Like the cadre and probably, all like the upperclassmen probably get to choose because, they're important. And obviously, we're wearing uniforms when we're on the ship and we're taking classes. So we get there, but no one gave us the rundown about Gibraltar. On Gibraltar, you get there and it's just a port, and then there's literally like that mountain that's like on like Prudential's, like, I don't know. You've seen it before.
I know what you're talking about.
But they never tell you that there's like a family of monkeys that have lived on this peninsula for like 3,000 years, and they're not leaving. Like, you're coming into their place. So we pull this ship in, and then there's like the townsfolk, but the monkeys are used to them. They see this ship come in, and they start working their way down the mountain. We don't know because we don't see them. I get off the boat, and I'm starving. And had no clue, so I break out a candy bar.
There you go.
Snickers, to be matter of fact. And these things they're not like those small, thin-armed, lanky little...
That's what mine were.
Yeah. This was not that. This was like a baboon with like the red dog penis hanging out and like the shaved ass and the big teeth.
Yep.
And they surround all of us. Like... hundreds of them. And you're just like, what the fuck? And I'm standing there like an idiot with a Snickers bar. And this fucking monkey locked onto me and was like, this guy's a sucker. Climbs up me. Mounts me. I've got a baboon on my shoulder. Snatches my candy bar. Looks me in the eyes before he bounces. Looks me in the eyes, and as he jumps off, he scratched my neck with his back feet and pissed on me. And just ran off. And now I'm covered in monkey piss. Everyone on my ship has seen this. Now I'm like, I got like open wounds. I gotta go back on the ship.
He sterilized it. He peed on it.
Yeah, he peed. Yeah, sure. Monkey piss. The nature's #1 sterilization. Yeah. I think that's for jellyfish, not for open wounds. But
maybe.
So since then, I've lost all respect for monkeys. If I ever encounter another baboon in public, it's gonna be not something that other people want to be involved in.
Yeah, baboons are scary. So before I went to Africa, in Illinois, they gave me a packet, and I was like, "What's this?" And they were like, "Read this. This is everything that can kill you." And I was like, "Oh, like people?" And they were like, "No, animals." And I was like, oh. And they're like, yeah, there's like plants and bugs and, you know, and like this thing was like this thick. Like, I'm not, like, it was a packet. And I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, there's also a slideshow if that's easier. And I was like, what the hell? And then I get out to Africa. And they were like, all right, so these animals can kill you. And I was like, yeah, they got this briefing. He's like, no, there's more. And they were like, oh, by the way, they stopped producing this type of antidote. And, like, there's that poisonous stuff around here. So, like, if you get, like, stung by this, grab it, let us know so we can just, like, tell you you're going to die. Because, like, there's no saving you.
Wow.
Yeah, because they just stopped producing it because not enough people were, like, getting... yeah, like needed it, so they just don't have it.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of... And the closest hospital was 6 hours away. Fly. A 6-hour flight away.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was... Everything can kill you in Africa.
How many vaccines do you think you had to get to leave the country? Because you get, like, a certain amount when you go into the military. They just, like, they like jab you up. But, like, when you go on deployment, there's got to be another dozen.
The shots, I totally forget how many. I know I went and got a bunch of shots.
Yeah.
I had to take medicine for malaria.
Malaria. Sure.
And those pills gave me such vivid nightmares. Like, they still haunt me.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah. The malaria pills, it was... I forget what they were called, but the nightmares that they give, like, it's... The nightmares that even if you didn't see action, you are more likely to get a type of PTSD on these malaria pills because they give you such vivid nightmares.
Wow.
Like, so when we got out there, we were told that the enemy, like, wouldn't really, like, mortar us. They would much rather come and kill us themselves. And so, like, I would have vivid nightmares of people, like, cutting open my tent and then just, like, stabbing me in the chest. Like, jeez. And, like, it just felt so real because that's, like, what the pills did. And so, like, that's what didn't settle right with me. Like, it wasn't it was the pills. The pills messed me up. It was terrible. But, yeah, I'd much rather that than getting malaria. Malaria I heard was no joke. Once you have malaria, you have it forever, and I'm pretty sure it can kill you if you don't treat it properly.
Yeah, I haven't done my research on diseases in a while.
Malaria.
Yeah.
I know, it's, I don't know how to spell malaria.
A.
Right there, boom.
Yeah, there you go. No, that's A. No, go back. A-R. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. There it is.
So I know it was from mosquitoes.
Yeah, sure.
Is a serious and sometimes fatal disease caused by a parasite that commonly infects a certain type of mosquito, which feeds on humans. So, yeah. I mean, so I will say, I did end up leaving Africa like 2 weeks early because they thought I had a hernia. In my groin area, my lymph nodes were inflamed. And, like, it hurt to walk. And, like, the day before, I moved a giant condenser on my own. So I was like, oh, it's 100% a hernia. Like, I messed myself up. And so I went to the doctor, and they didn't have, like, a way to, like any type of machine to, like, look.
Sure, like an MRI or a CAT scan. So
they sent me back to Djibouti about 2 weeks early. And they were like, yeah, no, that's not a hernia. That's your lymph nodes. You have some sort of bacterial infection. Ooh. And I was like, oh, do we know what it is? And they're like, no, your test's coming back negative. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. And they're like, yeah, here's some antibiotics. And I was like, but if you don't know what it is, how's this going to treat me? And they're like, oh, we're just going to try it. And I was like, okay, doc, I got you. Navy guy. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll take it. I mean, take this, die maybe. Who knows? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, who knows? And I was like, wow, you're not supposed to say that, but okay. But that was a fun. The next day, I felt great. I took him.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, the lymph node went down, and
that's good.
Yeah, and I felt great. And I was like, so what do you think it was? He's like, I don't know, but here's more. And I was like, thanks.
Take more.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think that's like doctors, like basic thing that they learn is like, oh, if there's certain symptoms, just give them antibiotics and hopefully it kills something.
Yeah,
It's
or
like their
if it's
default.
if it's the military, they'll be like, oh, give them ibuprofen, water, and it's like, well, if I'm allergic to ibuprofen, it's like you're gonna die. Sorry,
What
that
about
sucks.
acetaminophen?
Yeah,
That work?
yeah, they didn't really do much for pain. I was having like lower back pain. I still have some lower back pain. Emily bought me. It's over there, I think.
You gotta go to a chiropractor.
Yeah, I tried. They
God.
wouldn't send me.
No, just
Well,
like
yeah,
a private
no,
one now.
I'm going to be looking into it. I was
You-
getting
you have
massages
to.
for a little bit.
100 chiropractor.
Yeah,
It's the most cost-effective to result-based medicine. Guaranteed. So for the price that you pay for that doctor, for the amount of relief for your actual symptom,
it's worth it.
it's the best one. There's no, you could tell me dentist, you could tell me any other doctor in the world, chiropractor, for the amount that they cost to the symptoms that they relieve and the relief that you get, it's the most cost-effective doctor on earth. 100%.
Yeah, I still need a dentist.
Well, yeah,
the
I mean,
VA doesn't cover dental.
Well,
it's so weird.
To get you in, they do. Like, I had some jacked up teeth going into the Coast Guard, and they put these massive just fillings in, like 60% of a tooth was a filling, just so that I could go in.
Yeah,
and they don't guarantee their work.
But like after you get out, no dental.
In the VA, huh?
Yeah, no dental in the VA.
You want to hear a crazy story? I've been out of the Coast Guard since 2005. I haven't taken any benefits from the VA.
Really?
Yeah. I'm an idiot.
So because of the way that I got out of the military, they like made me do it because I was getting out on disability.
Okay.
And so they're like, you need to be set up for this.
Gotcha.
And so that's what took me so long to get out, because I had to make sure everything was squared away at the VA. And if the VA didn't clear me, then
you couldn't get out.
Yeah, I couldn't get out.
Right. So it had to be all set up for your discharge before you got discharged.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was nice. It was very seamless once I got out, the changeover. But it was nice just having them do it for me. They're like, you have to do this. I'm like, okay, whatever. And I got paid to do it. So, because I did it during the military. So, I wasn't running around not work because I got paid on salary. It was nice. Yeah, no. I would recommend the military, though.
Yeah, you would.
I mean, everybody...
How highly would you recommend it?
A 7 out of 10. Like
7 out of 10?
So I generally enjoy the military.
Yeah.
Like, there's some things that I personally didn't enjoy about the military while I was leaving. Like, it was turning very PC when I got back from my deployment. Before my deployment, it was very military, and I loved it. I loved the fact that it was very military. And then after my deployment, it wasn't military, and I think that didn't help me transition back in because I didn't have like a very good structure, and so it didn't really help me, and I hated it. People were talking to higher ups in ways they shouldn't, and they weren't getting in trouble. And before, if I talked to somebody one rank higher than me, I would have got my ass chewed out. And it's just like, it's not that it was unfair, but like, it wasn't the military. It 100%, it laxed way too much, and I hated it. But it's not like that for everybody. Everybody has different opinions, but and not everybody deploys to like, I didn't deploy to a terrible place. Like, yeah, they got attacked after, but like, that was a one in a million. I don't know if they've been attacked again since, but that was the first time they were attacked in X amount of years. Like, it's been a while.
Sure.
And so, like, yeah, it was a bare base. I lived in a tent, but I had Wi-Fi. I had AC. Like, that's why I was there. Like, we had AC, and it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every moment out there. It was just when I got back, I didn't enjoy it. Yeah,
makes sense.
I met a lot of cool people. If it wasn't for the military, I wouldn't have met. And I've had, I think, at least I've had 2 of them on my show.
Nice.
So yeah, so friendships. I still talk to a few of them. The military is great. You meet people, and now we still know people out in the Midwest that we can go visit. I know people out like on the West Coast I can go visit.
Yeah.
Like I know people almost everywhere that I can just be like, oh hey, I'm in the neighborhood. What's going on?
Good experience overall.
Good experience overall. I got a medal out of it too, so that's cool. Yeah.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. I got it for mowing grass.
No.
Yeah, I got fired from my landscaping job before the military because I was bad at mowing grass. But I got an award in the military because I was good at mowing grass. So I got better.
You learned your lessons and you improved.
The military taught me how to mow grass.
Better.
Yep.
Better than you did. There we go.
Yeah, it was fun.
So behind you, is that Adam West Batman?
Yeah, I don't think they.
You don't have to take it down.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can see it from here. I can tell by his by his cowl and the Batman outfit which one that is. That was the Batman movie where he fought the shark from the helicopter.
The shark propellant. Yeah,
with the shark, right?
That's my favorite Batman.
Yeah, Robin was flying the chopper, right?
The Bat Chopper.
The Bat Chopper and the ladder.
Yep, and he climbed down into the acrobatic, and he just kind of hung up. Yeah, it was so cheesy. I loved it.
Yeah, that was a great time for Batman back then.
Yeah, my dad got me that for Christmas one year.
That's awesome.
It's signed by Adam West. It was absolutely my favorite Batman. I had I believe it's 6 seasons on DVD. My dad got them for me.
That's awesome.
And I would watch it all the time. And it's the comedic love of it, because like it was supposed to be serious, and like as I watched it as a kid, and I took it serious as a kid, and it reminded me of like old-fashioned comics with the pow and the boom, and it was great. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Batman fan. I'm kind of more of a Nightwing fan now.
Okay.
I've moved away from Batman because everybody's like Batman this, Batman that, and I liked how kind of Titans, the HBO show.
Okay.
They kind of got me more into Robin because the first season I haven't fully watched the second season, but the first season it pretty much opens up with how I imagined a real DC character would be, and it was Robin running around with his Oz, and like he would throw them and they'd get like caught in people's eyes and blood would be squirting out, and like it was just super bloody, super violent.
Oh, that's neat.
And it was like, yeah, this is what a superhero is supposed to be. Like, as terrible as it sounds, Batman isn't throwing batarangs at people and they're not going to not stick in them. Like, I'm sorry, they're sticking in you. Like, if they're sticking in a wall, like a cement wall, they're sticking into a person. And the fact that like these movies don't really do that, I get why they don't, but like Deadpool showed us that a rated R superhero movie could do it.
Was Batman versus Superman rated R?
No.
It wasn't?
No.
Huh.
Nope.
I thought that was good. It was pretty violent. He was like crushing skulls and stuff. Wasn't he like caving in like chest bones? I thought that one was so. I
don't think it was rated R.
No.
This is why I like Google.
I'm the same way. Like, I understand like Superman doesn't kill people and Batman only like beats people up. Was it? It was PG-13? I don't remember now. I thought that one was good. Have you seen the new Batman with Robert Pattinson?
I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
I heard it was supposed to be like an actual. They said it was supposed to be rated R. It's supposed to be like one of the first horror Batman films.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so at first I heard Robert Pattinson was playing Batman, and I was like, oh boy, here comes Sparkles. And that's just me being a dick.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, but I watched a few of the trailers, and they look gruesome. They look good.
Yeah.
So hopefully they are rated R. Hopefully they are as gruesome and horrifying as they're supposed to be, because I I want superheroes to stop being for kids. They're not for kids. Like, Spiderman, yeah. Spiderman is 100% for kids.
Yeah,
like,
but there's different levels of graphic novels.
Yes, exactly, there are. And, like, Batman is not for kids. Batman is supposed to be... Like, Superman is for kids. Because he... Even, like, when he fought Doomsday. So, yeah, I'm a huge nerd. So even like when he fought Doomsday, he said he didn't even like punch him as hard as he could because he's never punched anybody as hard as he could because he knows he could kill them. And that's what his like huge downfall was fighting Doomsday and why he died.
Yeah.
But and so with that being said, Superman also he has heat vision, but in the comics he doesn't fly around and just pop people's head open like with his heat vision. So yeah, Superman is for kids.
Yeah.
Like, but Batman, he leaves people bloodied in the streets and just like no, he breaks people's bones, drops them off a building. If you get dropped off of a 6-7 story building in the middle of a city, chances are you're not really going to survive.
No, you're definitely going to the hospital and you're bleeding.
Yeah, so it's just it's weird that they tried to target kids in this stuff. And I mean, I was a kid when I got into Batman, but I got into Batman because of Adam West.
It's commercialized though. That's how they make money, right? That's why they like you take shows that you think would be like a guy's show, like Peaky Blinders or Game of Thrones. Great show. Peaky Blinders, great show. You haven't watched it, watch it. All right, that's total recommendation from me. But like you take that basis of like a gang and these downtrodden like street gangsters, but what do they work into all these shows, dramas and love and like things, because you have to have like stuff for the guys, you have to have stuff for the women. So I think
that's why I like Peaky Blinders, because it was like a perfect balance, because it was like it showed more of like the guy side of the love portion of it, because it was more of a guy show.
100%.
And so it wasn't like all like lovey-dovey. It was more of like them acting more like just complete dicks.
So that's like commercialization. That's when like corporations and companies realize we can make more money by doing this. Like, wasn't the Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson in the early 90s, was that rated R? Because I remember people dying in that movie.
PG-13.
That was PG-13?
PG-13.
Man, I am terrible with
Jack Nicholson Batman?
Yeah, Jack Nicholson Batman. What was that, 1991?
89.
89. Wow, I am getting old. What was that rated?
Let's see.
That made $411 million.
Jeez. That's crazy.
Right?
And people made fun of this forever.
This movie was amazing. It was over 2 hours long.
Yeah.
What was it rated?
Let's see. It's not just like popping up for some reason.
Just put it, there you go. Nice. What was it rated? That wasn't something, that's not something that I remember.
No. I believe it was PG-13.
You might be right. Why isn't it pop? Oh, there it is, PG-13.
Yeah, PG-13.
Good call. So I guess...
In the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, too, I believe that was Batman Forever. That
Mr.
was
Freeze.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze. Yeah, that was also PG-13.
Jim Carrey was in that? No, was that a different one when he was he the Riddler?
He was the Riddler.
But it was
that one was with Poison Ivy and Bane, the original Bane.
That Bane was Which one was that Batman? So that wasn't Batman Forever, that was was that George Clooney at that time?
I think so.
It was. That was George Clooney, yeah.
Yeah, Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin.
That Batman had nipples.
And it was rated PG-13? Oh, yeah.
Yep, PG-13, 97. Yeah.
Wow.
This Batman got made fun of because he had nipples.
Yeah, look at the nipples. Wow.
Yeah, they were like bullets.
They
were like the male Medusa.
Pointy areola, for sure.
And I believe they did this costume twice, and they gave it nipples twice. Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, they did great with... I did like the... Tim Horton? Not Tim Horton. Tim Burton. I liked his Batmans. Those were good. But I will say Heath Ledger did the best Joker. Yeah, he was the best Joker.
Yeah, that's...
For how they did it. Because have you seen the new Joker? with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, that one was weird.
So I like that one because it was completely different.
Yeah.
They knew that they couldn't pull off the Heath Ledger Joker.
No.
And I like how every Joker that's been out, it's been a different type of Joker. And like even in the comics, there's a bunch of different types of Jokers. So like the one with Jack Nicholson, he was a gangster pimp. Like that's just how he dressed. And then with Heath Ledger, he was more of like a war criminal. And then what's his name?
Joaquin Phoenix was
the one before that. Leo. No. He has a brother that's in a band. Why can't I?
Jared Leto.
Yeah. They made him like kind of psychotic and just like gave him a bunch of tattoos.
Yeah, that one was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't like him.
30 Seconds from Mars, right?
Yep.
That's his band, Jared Leto.
Yep.
That was a terrible I totally forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Like, I pushed that one out of my memory.
I like reminding people about it because it was so bad.
Yeah, don't do that again. Don't do that again. I hated it.
But no, the Joaquin Phoenix one I liked because it was more of a stab towards mental health. And I will say, like, it showed that he could take a beating. And so, like, if they do try to incorporate him into, like, fight, like, Robert Pattinson eventually, I could see how they would do that, because in the first movie, it's like, this guy, like, gets the crap beat out of him all the time. He's used to it. And so, because, like, my whole thing was, like, Joker was supposed to, like, fall into a vat of acid. And that's how he, like, became who he is.
Yeah.
And it's like, how is a normal person going to sit there and get beat by a guy in like body armor? And it's like, well, he's crazy. That's why. Like, he can. And so I'm hoping they somehow incorporate it, because he did a great job with it, and I think just even the film itself was amazing.
It was good.
They did such a great job with it.
Yeah.
Especially, well, I mean, it's been out a while. Like,
we're going to ruin it for you.
Yeah, we're going to ruin it for you. Like, especially how they ended it with the ending, how he was, like, escaping from Arkham. Yeah. Like, it just, like, set it up perfectly.
He was crazy. They pieced it together where the clock wasn't moving at certain points, right?
Yep.
And when the clock wasn't moving, that was when he was making up everything, like, with his girlfriend and the girlfriend's kid. And then you get to the end of the movie and you're like,
he's great.
Okay. So now I need to go back and watch every time, and then you figure it out, like, how nuts he actually was. Yeah, that they did a great job. That was a fun.
What's so funny? You wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get it.
Yeah, they put a lot of good stuff in that movie when he was like, when he was dressing up as the clown, like doing the sign thing, and then he goes back and he gets the gun from that guy at where he was working or whatever, and then there's like, you know, the little person that it was just, there's a lot of stuff that they put in there that was like very well done. They did
a great job with it. Yeah. Have you seen the new Spiderman or no?
No.
All right, won't talk about it then. I'll talk about it.
I heard it was awesome.
It was very good.
I haven't seen a good Spider-Man in a long time. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, you didn't like the other ones? The other ones with Tom Holland?
No. Okay, so the Tom Holland ones, yes, but the ones with Tobey Maguire.
I hate Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Like everybody's like, oh my god, I hope he comes back. He's the best. And like, no, he's not. He was terrible. So I think Andrew Garfield was a great Spider-Man, and then Tom Holland is a great Peter Parker.
Okay.
Like, he's a really good Peter Parker.
Okay.
And it's just Andrew Garfield's like wittiness that he had, and like the jokes that he was able to crack, like, while he was like doing the fights. Like, I just think they did that part better.
Yeah.
But Tobey Maguire, I didn't like at all. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Tobey Maguires. I haven't seen any of the Tom Hollands, but from what everyone says, this last one was good, and that'll make me watch the, what was it, one before? Tom Holland.
So Tom Holland has two other ones.
Two?
Well, yeah, he has three total. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen. See, that's so like I haven't seen a good Spider-Man in a while.
So the first. Oh man, I forget who he fights on the first one. The second one, he fights Mysterio, and I saw it in theaters, and I felt like a child. I was so happy because like I grew up playing Spiderman like on the computer in the PS1, and you have to fight Mysterio in it. And as a little kid with such a great imagination, like when I watched the movie, that's exactly what I imagined it to be like. In the graphics, I'm so happy they didn't try to do Mysterio like with Tobey Maguire, because the graphics would have been terrible and everybody would have hated it. But just how smooth they were, just like Mysterio could manipulate the like his surroundings. It was amazing. And just like did you watch Doctor Strange?
Yeah, I did. No? I couldn't get through like the first like 10 minutes of it. It was just like,
it was a very slow movie.
They make so many comic book superhero Marvel movies now that I'm just like fed up with it. Like,
see, that's how I am with the TV shows. I'm done watching the TV shows. I'm not following them.
Yeah.
But like I followed the Phase 3 of Marvel because I was dedicated from the start.
Which one was that? The Golden Fist and Punisher? Because Punisher was good.
So I did watch Punisher.
I like
But like the Phase 3 was the movies. The Infinity War saga that they did.
Yeah.
That I followed that.
Yeah. I watched it too.
I watched I did watch Punisher. I watched the first 2 seasons of Punisher.
Yeah.
After a while, they just kind of get repetitive.
Yeah, I like the violence in that one though. Daredevil was good.
Daredevil was really good.
Yeah.
They're keeping him. There's rumors of him like being in more of the cinematic.
Yeah.
The movies and stuff.
They were thinking about bringing back Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio as well, because it did really well. I like that show. Golden Fist, wasn't it? Is that right?
I believe it's Golden Fist.
The Iron Fist?
Iron Fist.
I say Golden. I didn't enjoy that one. Luke Cage was okay. I just think like the movies have just gone like, there's just so many of them and they go in so many different avenues that I just don't have time to watch like 13 Marvel movies to get me caught back up to where I need to be. And then they're not standout. They don't stand out anymore. So it's not like it's 4 hours of like so much stuff cram packed into it that it's not like one big scene and one big fight, like one storyline. It's just so many that are dragging you into like
a bunch of different
5 movies. It kind of got disappointing. That's why I liked Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
It was
I like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really fun, and like kind of like standalone movies where they it's not your typical comic book or superhero that everyone knows, but they did it so well and how they wrote those movies that they're not like stretching it out to the next 5. They were like, this is what we want to accomplish and we're going to get it.
Yeah, and like you don't even have to follow the rest of them to understand what's going on. Like, they talk about the Infinity Stones in it, but guess what? After you watch that movie, it doesn't matter because you don't have to follow it anymore.
Yeah, that's what I like movies, especially the comic book ones or the superhero ones, when they do have characters that you need to like remember storylines about, that they're not dragging you 5 different places. Like you can watch that movie and you can watch the 4 that go along with it, but you don't have to watch them in order. They don't lead up to anything. And I know some people want to have that experience, but there's just so many of them now. I'm just like over it. I'm like, just
no, I get that.
Yeah.
And it's so like before we went to go see I think it was Infinity War. We sat down and I had Emily watch all of the Marvel movies because if I go to a movie and I'm paying to watch a movie, I don't want somebody to say, hey, who's that person? Who are they from? What's going on with this? Because I want to watch the movie. I want to enjoy the movie. Sometimes, like, if there's, like, a surprise appearance, like, I don't care. Like, I'll explain it real quick because, like, oh, shit, didn't know this person was going to be in here. I would have told you their backstory, but now you're going to ask me. So, like, that happened the other day in a movie we went to go see, and Emily was like, who's that? And I was like, man, I got to explain this. And, like, I'm sitting there trying to listen to the movie while explaining it, and it's difficult.
It is.
So, we instead of like watching like a normal TV show that was an hour long, we just watched a Marvel movie.
Nice.
And like we had Disney Plus, and so like they were all on Disney Plus, so it was easy.
Yeah.
And I think we did it we watched most of them during, no, oh, that was before COVID. I don't know, maybe we just didn't have a life for a little bit and we just watched movies, because sometimes we pick a certain not a genre, but like a group of movies,
Mm-hmm.
and we watch all of them.
Yeah.
So like we did it with Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we started to do it The Hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
And then she fell asleep through the second one. And so we were going to watch it again, and I was like, I don't want to watch people walk again for 4 hours.
Right.
And so my brother got the Lord of the Rings in 4K.
Nice.
And he was like, hey, come over and watch Lord of the Rings. And so we watched all 3 Lord of the Rings, and then for Christmas he got The Hobbit.
Nice.
And so he's like, hey, let's watch The Hobbit. And I was like, man, I have to watch people walk again for 3-4 hours. But at least it's going to be in 4K. It's going to look good. So we're going to do that. I'm excited for that. Yeah, we want to do the X-Men series. I wasn't really a big fan of the X-Men, but
Yeah.
I like watching. I'm one of those people that like having the story. Like I like watching them in order and having it make sense.
Yeah, the X-Men movies, they got worse and worse over the years. They were never as good as the comic books.
Yep.
It was always really about, like, when were you going to get to the next Wolverine movie and were you going to make it good? Because they never did, like... I just thought, yeah, the X-Men movies, when I watched them, I just started to tail off and just got over those, too. There was a lot of bad ones at the end.
That's what I've heard.
I don't even remember the names of the ones at the end. I don't even remember.
The last one I remember is Old Man Logan, and I heard that was the only good one that they did at the end. Yeah, Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
I heard they pretty much copied the comic book verbatim for that, and it's rated R.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I remember that I liked. Yeah.
And I haven't seen it, so this is what I've been told. So hopefully there's no spoilers for people who haven't seen it. But again, it's just Logan, who's old. Professor Xavier, he has Alzheimer's, and that's really crazy to hear, because when I heard that, I was like, what do you mean he has Alzheimer's? Because that's his superpower, being able to tap into people's brains. And so he's going crazy because he has this power that he can tap into people's brains, but he's losing his own brain.
Yeah.
And apparently they swear a lot in it, and I've just heard a bunch of great things about it. It's violent.
Oh yeah, that was a good one for sure.
Yeah. No, there's a couple other ones that we did. The Star Wars. We went out and we bought all the Star Wars.
Nice.
I have all the Harry Potters.
Okay.
I like collections.
Yeah.
It's just it's something I like.
Yeah, I'm big into Star Wars. I'm excited. They've Disney Plus has story about Boba Fett coming out now, so
first episode was released the other day. I saw that.
I haven't watched it yet. Definitely looking forward to that. And Disney Plus also has a good documentary on the Beatles.
Yeah,
the band.
I haven't watched that. It's 3 hours long.
Do you like the Beatles?
Oh, I love the Beatles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have if you look behind you.
Yeah.
Beatles Diary. It's that pink binder. It's kind of.
There it is on the left. I see it.
I believe my aunt Nikki got that for me one year for my birthday.
It's awesome. So Disney Plus has it. It's called Get Back, and it was actually later in their career, so they're 30.
Yeah.
So they're not young Beatles. They're a little bit older and they're established, and the world loves them. And they decided with their production team that they were going to do a concert for their fans, which they had done before, small concerts, and they videotaped them. They had done movies up until that point. Awesome. But they were going to do another one, but this time they were going to make a documentary. So they have 150 hours of footage that they put into this, and each episode's 2.5 or 3 hours. So it's 9 hours long. But the reason I brought it up is because I loved the Beatles because of my dad and my mom always playing them. I came out of the womb listening to the Beatles. So it was something that was ingrained in me, but I didn't know so much about the Beatles because they were already done when I was born in, you know, the 1980s. When I was born, Paul McCartney had his whole solo career going, but I didn't realize, like, when I was younger, I always thought, like, the Beatles were John Lennon.
Yeah.
And when you watch this documentary, it is not John Lennon. You realize how phenomenal of an artist Paul McCartney is.
Yeah, it was mainly Paul McCartney and making fun of Ringo Starr.
Right, sure, yeah. But I mean, so they'll be like sitting in this recording studio or wherever they are on the sound stage of a movie stage, and they're just strumming along, coming up with tunes, and Paul McCartney's like freestyling, and John Lennon will pop in with like adding a couple words here, and then all of a sudden, within like a day of work, an 8-hour day, they like wrote like Get Back, or they wrote like, you know, a song that's so epic now when it comes on the radio and you hear the first two notes, you know it's the Beatles.
They wrote, I know they wrote Dear Prudence in, I believe it was in India. It was I believe it was a commune. This girl wasn't having that great of a time, and her name was Prudence. And so they wrote her a song to try to get her to, like, not be better, but, like, feel better and, like, come out and, like, actually do stuff. And there's some stuff I know about the Beatles. I was really big into the conspiracy of, it was John Lennon. He actually didn't get, right? It was John Lennon that got shot?
John Lennon got murdered in New York City, right outside of his apartment,
so the conspiracy that he, like, actually didn't get murdered.
Like Tupac. Yeah, they're not dead.
Yeah, no, they're not dead. And, like,
they're living in Jamaica making music right now.
Yeah, and if you look at, like, the album, Abbey Road cover, this is, like, where it... just the way that they're dressed. That so that's John Lennon.
Yeah, of course.
He's dressed in white, so that means he's dead. He's dressed as the priest who would, because he's wearing a suit, like just a really nice suit. So he would be the person giving the eulogy. He's the gravedigger because he's not wearing any shoes. And I forget what the last one was, but it was. I read a lot into it, and it was years ago.
Yeah, I like conspiracies.
Yeah, but like conspiracies are fun to look at. Like people think, because like I look at conspiracies, they think I'm crazy, and it's like no, I just look at them. They're fun.
It's just another point of view. It's like devil's advocate. Like if you took everything for face value and you didn't look at the other side. That's not how you want to go through life. You want to have a couple different views so you can make your own opinion and make an educated decision on what you believe is to be true or what's not. Like
I fully believe that COVID would not be a thing if Harambe did not get shot.
Oh, Harambe is because of COVID, huh?
Yeah.
Or COVID's because of Harambe?
Yeah, if you look at the chain of events leading up to today, everything has happened bad after Harambe got shot. Back in 2016... That's when everything started going downhill.
Nothing was bad before then?
I mean, it was, but, like, we didn't have, like, this bad of a pandemic. Like, the people weren't this crazy. Man, it's Harambe.
Yes, they were.
It's because of Harambe.
It's Harambe.
Yeah, that's my favorite internet conspiracy.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like it.
Everything bad. It's almost like Pandora's box.
He tried to save that kid.
Yep, and they shot him.
They shot poor Harambe in front of dozens of people.
Man, but no, the Beatles have always been great. I got into them by Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Oh yeah,
the movie. I showed it to Emily the other day, and she wasn't a fan.
No,
there's like no talking in it, and it's just them singing.
Yeah.
She much prefers Across the Universe.
Nice.
That's a great movie.
There you go.
That one, it takes place in Liverpool and in New York.
Okay.
And it's about Jude and Max Maxwell from. Everybody is named after their songs. So Jude is from Hey Jude. Maxwell is from Maxwell Silver Hammer. Lucy in the Sky. There's Prudence, and she's named after Dear Prudence. There's a guy that's supposed to look like Jimi Hendrix, like he wears the bandana and everything. It's during the Vietnam War. Max gets like the draft notice, and so they talk throughout it, and it's all about drugs and just the Beatles, and they sing, and it's great. I love it. It's one of my favorite adaptations of the Beatles, you could say.
Cool.
I think it was on Netflix, if I remember correctly.
I'll find it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
It's good. It was made in the early 2000s. You don't really have kids. It's not really kid-friendly.
Yeah,
but
I'm not worried about it.
No, but it's good. They did a good job with it. Even like the graphics for when it was good. There's a lot of there's this one scene where they're singing "I Am the Walrus" and like everything's all like trippy and like all like kaleidoscope like, and no, it's cool. They did a great job with it. I enjoyed it. They definitely need to do more, and I think they should do less of their mainstream songs if they do another one, because Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and Across the Universe, those are like, well, like the songs that they use, they're all like a lot of mainstream songs.
Yeah.
But like, man, do you want about like the Yellow Submarine? That would be a hilarious movie.
I think they made a cartoon about the Yellow Submarine.
I believe they actually did.
Right?
Now that you say that.
But I don't know. I don't think I watched that since I was a kid. I probably watched it with.
Have you ever been in a submarine?
Yeah, but not underwater.
Not underwater?
Like, I've been in one, but not like, well, it traveled. Like a museum one.
Where'd you do that?
I think there was one in Connecticut by the Coast Guard Academy. Right across from the Coast Guard Academy, there's a Navy submarine base on the Connecticut River.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It is cool. And I was thinking about going to the Coast Guard Academy, and they actually had a submarine there, and they took us on a tour. They were able to take us on a tour of it. They were like, it was part of like their recruitment was like, hey, we got this Navy.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a movie.
It was a movie.
It was a movie.
There you go.
See, Google's amazing. I love Google.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. No, I've never been on a submarine. I've talked to people who've been on submarines, and they did like the HVAC on submarines.
Yep.
And they were like, yeah, we used a lot of steam. And so, like, if there was a steam leak, we would have to walk around with a wooden broom handle and, like, go like this. It would get
chopped off.
And it would get chopped off when they found it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they would have to find and fix the steam leak.
Yeah,
and that's terrifying.
You don't always see the steam. Everyone thinks, oh, the steam is white. Sometimes it's so hot and pressurized, it's clear. So they use the wooden broomstick so they don't get sliced up by
it's scary.
Yeah, it's nuts. I would never live
Steam's
on it.
Crazy.
I would never live on a submarine. Forget it.
Would you ever scuba dive though?
I have scuba dive.
Oh,
I used to have my license.
Really?
Yeah, I got licensed when I was like 19.
What does that entail? Just taking a class?
Yeah, you got to take classes.
Oh, okay.
And they teach you in a pool for like, I don't know, a couple weekends. 4 hours a class, couple classes a weekend. You go for, I don't know how many, 6 or 8 weeks or something.
It's not bad.
And then you have to pass your qualification exam. They take you to the ocean. And they dump you in.
That's wicked cool.
Crazy, dude. They took us up to Cape Ann. It'd be south. Cape Ann in Massachusetts. But it was cold AF.
Oh, yeah, because we're freezing over here, up here. It's so weird. I haven't been on the West Coast, but, like, being in the ocean up in New Hampshire, I've been in the ocean down in Florida. Those are two different, like, completely temperature. Ocean in Africa, so warm. Yeah. It's so nice. But, like, again, there was stuff in the water that could kill you. It was fun. Yeah, they're like, you have to wear water suits. And I was like, okay, yeah. I didn't really swim all that much there. No. But no, it was warm. It was nice. It's weird. And I heard even, like, the West Coast, it's kind of almost the same thing. The bottom is warmer and the top is colder.
Really?
I know people who've been to, like, the Arctic, and they've jumped, like, into the, like, Arctic Ocean.
Wow.
And, like, got out, like, just to say that they've, like, done it before. And it's like, no, I couldn't do that. Knowing how cold it is, I couldn't do that. No, getting in the ocean up here is hard.
I know.
Let alone in the Arctic, knowing
Right.
it's going to be freezing. No. Man. I want to, though. I want to go to the Arctic. There's so many places I want to go,
Yeah.
but it's just hard. We're getting our passports soon.
Nice.
Yep. I didn't know that, like, you could actually do it. They have, like, ice igloos up in, like, Norway.
Yeah.
And, like, you can go up there and, like, and it's just, like, it open top, and you can watch the Northern Lights, and, oh, it's wicked cool.
That's sick. That'd be a good trip.
Yep. That's what I want to do. And who knows? We only live, I think it was 6 hours away from Vancouver. Like, that's right over the border. It's not that far.
Mm.
So we need our passports for that too. And
Yeah.
when I was younger, we did that as like a weekend trip. We went to Vancouver because a 6 hour drive really isn't that far. I mean, you're from the Midwest too, right? Like, no, you grew up here.
Yeah. Sam's from the Midwest.
Yeah.
But I think Vancouver's on the West Coast. Montreal.
Montreal. My bad.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's okay. And
it's been a little bit.
I make mistakes too. Montreal's a fun time. I mean, I went there when I was like 19, and I was obviously underage drinking in Canada. You're like,
oh well, yeah.
Oh yeah, and they got like strip clubs, and you're taking shots at 19, and oh man, yeah, I remember stumbling out of bars in Montreal. But it's a little different when you're married. But it's a beautiful, beautiful city. They got good food. Yeah, Montreal's a fun time for sure.
Yeah, when we were younger, like I was in 6th grade, so I wasn't stumbling out of any bars.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still a fun experience. We got there and we didn't plan anything out. And I remember this very clearly. We did not plan anything out. My dad was just like, "Pack your bags. We're going on a trip."
Nice.
And so we found this hotel, and this guy was like, "If this guy doesn't show up in 5 minutes, you can have their room. But there's only 2 beds, and there's like 6 of us."
Your family.
And so, like, we were sleeping on the window. Like, they showed up 5 minutes after us. Like, he checked us in.
Oh, wow.
And we started unpacking the car, and these people showed up. And the guy was like, "You're late. I already gave your room away."
Wow.
And we were just like,
ugh.
"Don't look at us. Like, you showed up late. Sorry."
Yeah.
Oh, well. But, like, we were sleeping on the on the windowsills, on the floor.
Oh, my gosh.
They didn't have, like, any extra cots or anything. I think they had one. They gave us 1 cot. And there was, like, okay, that's cool. It was a fun experience. We watched SpongeBob in French.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how you would say that. See, I don't even know English.
No, you know that French and English is still French though.
Yeah.
You don't have to say it a different way.
Yeah, it was weird.
Was there subtitles?
No subtitles.
What?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And like,
Ugh.
man, it was so weird seeing like the billboards up there.
Yeah.
Like, the culture difference between like what is appropriate.
Oh yeah.
Like for people to see in America compared to other places.
Sure.
Like even their like nudity policy.
Yeah.
Like their commercials on like Nickelodeon had like half naked women on it.
Yeah.
Like it was so weird. And like billboards had like butts hanging out everywhere and like naked women and it was like, huh, this is weird. And my parents like, yeah, this is normal up here. And it's like, oh, why isn't it like this everywhere? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just people look at stuff differently in different cultures. And like we're not even like that far away from them, and it's different.
No. I went to Europe, like I was saying earlier, and I turned on the TV and there was like breasts on the television in a milk commercial. So they were trying to make the connection that
There you go, that logic.
It is, but you're not like buying like
Breast milk
from a human. You're buying milk from a cow. It was the most bizarre. It was so bizarre.
That's so weird.
It's other cultures. They have different, like you said, they have different levels of acceptance for the human body. But yeah, America, I guess we're a bunch of prudes.
Yeah, and like apparently other countries like on their like cigarette packs, they have, if you keep smoking, this will happen to you, and they'll have like a picture of somebody's like teeth or lungs. I saw that in Africa. People I were with, they smoked cigarettes. I was vaping at the time, and they were smoking African cigarettes, and I was like, oh wow, those look like they don't even like smell like cigarettes. And they're like, do you want to try one? And I was like, fuck, I want to try one. Like, I'm not going to buy a pack, but if you're going to offer me, like, an African cigarette, I'll try that.
Yeah.
And it tasted so, like, it tasted so good compared to, like, an American, like, nowadays, if I smoked like, even, like, while I was in Africa, somebody handed me an American cigarette, like, I gagged at the smell of it. And it was weird. Like, even to describe a cigarette tasting good. Like, it still didn't smell the greatest because it was a cigarette, but, like, it didn't smell as bad as American cigarettes, and it 100% did not have all the chemicals in it that, American cigarettes had. And I don't know, like, if when you traveled, I made it a point to try, like, I hate Coca-Cola, but I made it a point to try different Coca-Colas in every country I went to. And they taste different in every single country I went to.
Yeah, they all use different sugar.
Yep. Yeah. It's just so bizarre, and it's so cool. Yeah, I love it.
You can get, like, the original Coca-Cola formula, like, after they took the drugs out of it or whatever, but made with, like, natural sugar or cane sugar. They ship it up from Mexico in, like, glass bottles. You can still get it from time to time. But, like, I've been down to Mexico, or you go down to... you know, a southern state, and they have them imported in, like, glass bottles, and they use the natural sugar, and they don't use the American, the corn syrup, the high fructose diabetes.
Yeah, especially in the, zero sugar, and it's because you use a fake artificial sugar that's actually way worse for you.
Yeah, that's probably giving your thyroids, like, cancer or something like that, all the garbage they put in there.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was all the Coca-Cola I was drinking over there. Maybe that's what made
been messing up your thyroids.
Yeah, man.
Good thing they gave you antibiotics, though. Cleared it right up.
Saved me from the Coca-Cola.
Yeah, the Coca-Cola death.
Could have killed me.
Right?
Yeah, man. What a way to go out.
Yeah. Usually people die from a different type of Coke. You were about to go out from the liquid.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be fun. No fun in that. Man. Man, so I will say I did start a TikTok.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, for the podcast.
Okay.
I was gonna make a thing, like, during this episode, like, on my phone, because I was gonna use my camera, but my camera batteries are dead.
Oh.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't been having great luck. Like, I'm still, like, getting into the ropes of all of this.
Yeah, you're doing great. So, I don't do TikTok. I don't want to get hacked by China. and I'm not being racist or anything rude, but it's the same reason I don't use, like, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of problems, and, like, there's a lot of stuff on TikTok right now. They're doing, like, I guess, like, the algorithms are showing kids, like, a lot of negative things, and kids
shooting up schools and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then there's that.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with, like, on social media. Like, I have my social media accounts, but, like, I also just, like, downloaded all my pictures and my videos so that if I want to get rid of it, I have the stuff that I want. But, like, yeah, I'm not really into TikTok, and I got nothing against China. I wasn't saying anything about that. But the regulations in other countries are different. So, so the algorithms that they're using, like, children who are creating TikTok accounts, and their parents don't know what their kids are doing on social media or on the phones. Their kids are getting bombarded with, like, a lot of negative stuff that kids maybe of certain ages who are very susceptible to their minds being molded in different ways, they can get depression at a young age. So I'm not right at that point that I want to support TikTok. And I heard a couple people in my friends group, like, they started a WhatsApp chat, but it's not run by people that I want to
back.
Yeah, not right now. So I'm kind of like, I'm not saying no that I won't support you. Of course, I'll support you, and obviously anything that you do. But more of, like, the platforms that you put it on. I'll follow you on YouTube and all of that stuff. Of course, like, that's not what I'm saying. But
no. So, like, it took me a long time. Like, I created it yesterday. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I put 2 videos up. It's Where to Watch Me, and it was a 3-minute clip of my first video.
Nice.
And so, like, I'm trying to learn the algorithm of TikTok. Like, I've kind of learned the algorithm of Instagram. I don't really use Facebook.
Right.
Like, I go on Facebook to post the videos.
Yep.
But then besides that, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like Facebook.
Me either.
If, like, I post something on Facebook, like a picture, it comes from my Instagram. I hardly ever like go on Facebook to post the status, or like every now and again I'll go on and like look at things, but I'm kind of looking more for family because a lot of my family I don't talk to as much, I don't see as much, and it's nice to see some people grow, and like even if like I have family like in like others like across the country that I don't see, so it's nice seeing like what they're doing and all that fun stuff. But then besides that, I don't really go on Facebook. I had to go through and like delete like so much stuff off my phone because I had so much storage on my phone used up, and it was just becoming a burden. I was on the phone with Apple for like 4 hours the other day because my iCloud kept saying it was full when it wasn't. Yeah, it was a mess, but we got it figured out, so that's good. Yeah,
that is good.
Yeah.
Technology's supposed to make your life easier, but they sure bungle your life up sometimes, huh?
Yeah, and like it was funny because I talked to a couple different people, and everybody like kept apologizing, and like I could like tell that they were getting worried that like I was going to get like annoyed. And I was just sitting here like on my laptop because I was on my phone calling them, just like I was. I'm not gonna lie, like I was actually scrolling Facebook the other day because I was just on hold, like I wasn't doing anything. And they're like, "Sorry, we're still trying to figure this out." I'm like, "Hey, I don't care. If you figure it out, cool. If you don't, I'll figure something out." Like like it's technology. I get it. Like it hiccups. Like it's not your fault.
Right.
Me yelling at you isn't gonna do anything.
It never does.
Yeah, and like. At one point, like her voice, like even started getting shaky, and I was like, "Relax, it's okay. Like, I'm not mad." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "No, I don't care. Like, I don't think you're gonna figure this out because I was on the phone for 3 hours yesterday with a specialist, and they didn't figure it out." And she was like, "Oh, if that's the case," I'm like, "Yeah. Like, if we figure it out, like if you figure it out, amazing. If you don't, okay, cool." And she actually ended up figuring it out. I left her a really great review with her manager.
Nice.
And her manager was like, "Wow, not a lot of people do this." And I was like, "Yeah, because people complain. Like, if you help people, they're not going to be like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to give you a good review because you helped them."
Right.
I try to give people good reviews if they're actually useful.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm all about the surveys. If someone does a good job, or if there's a good waitress or server or waiter or bartender or something, you always try and give them a little shout out. Or if there's like an electronic survey, I try and fill them out all the time if someone did well.
And it's just like a little extra that you can like do, because even if you just like tell the manager, hey, this person's good, in the long run that could like actually help, because who knows, maybe this person was doing terrible the last 3 days and like they were on the verge of being fired, and like they were just having a couple off days. But like if you like, hey, this person was like amazing, like they did so well, it could change like so much.
Yeah, what did it take for you to like give a good review? A couple of seconds,
exactly,
a couple minutes. Didn't really take much of your time.
No,
and didn't take any energy. It didn't do anything bad for you. It was just bringing good to them. So yeah, absolutely, I totally agree. I think
it's just something easy that I feel more people should do.
Yeah, for sure, leaving reviews.
All right, we are kind of getting to the end of this. So, but before we do get off, I've been giving shout outs to local businesses, companies, etc. So today I'm wearing his shirt, Forever Goon.
Nice.
I'm going to link his stuff in the description.
Yeah, what do they do? What does Forever Goon do?
So he's an artist.
Okay.
He was...
From where?
Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay.
I went to elementary school, high school, middle school with him.
Okay.
We grew apart in middle school. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I stopped talking to him, like, after middle school. But yeah. I love his art. It's cool. It's just, like, this little G. Okay. It's a monster. I'll see if I can pull it up.
Does he mostly do artwork on clothing? Does he do other types of media?
He does. So he has a clothing brand.
Yeah.
So this is for like the number 4 and then evergoon .us. He has hoodies, beanies, t-shirts, of course, trucker hats.
Nice.
He does do art. If you follow his Instagram and Facebook and stuff, he will he sells rugs. That's the same logo.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like his logo. Let's see.
Nice.
His art is pretty good. But yeah, he's mainly a clothing brand.
Nice.
He does plush pillows too sometimes.
Yeah.
If you're in Manchester, he actually has something hung up in the Euro spot.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the shout out that I'm giving this episode. Figured help people out that I can.
Businesses that that's awesome. Yeah.
Once episode, if you want me to shout out your company, let me know. Send me a T-shirt, send me a hat, something.
Send the free swag.
Yeah, well, I don't really care about the swag. It's kind of just more to promote you.
I know.
I am getting stickers as well.
Nice.
They come in next Friday.
Awesome.
On the 7th. So
Perfect.
Hopefully they're supposed to be waterproof and everything. So I'm gonna be handing those out to people. But maybe one day I'll get into clothing.
Yeah.
Maybe if I get big enough. I mean, I'm only doing stickers now because I'm almost on episode 30. This is episode 29. I don't really, like, when I first started, I wasn't looking at, like, who was watching me and stuff. But the other day, I checked, and, like, people in India and Russia were watching.
That's
and
awesome.
So, like I'm getting a bigger audience, and so it's just, like, why not maybe try to expand a little bit into other things? And like stickers are kind of cheap. Like, this is a hobby. I don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any sponsors. Like, the shout out I just gave wasn't paid. And so it's something fun I like to do.
Absolutely.
So I figured, why not finally make stickers and see how that goes.
Yeah, it's gonna go well. This was totally fun.
Thank you for being on. I appreciate it.
I would definitely do it again. I don't know when you're going to start going through your guests and bringing people on for a second time, but...
Well, I promised one of the people from the military, he was episode 25.
Okay.
He said every 25 he wants to be on.
That's fine, but if you ever need a guest on short notice or someone bails out on you, I had a blast doing this. I always love spending time with you. You've always been a great friend, and it's always great to catch up with you and shoot the BS a little bit, but this is fun. Yeah, if you ever got to go through your guests again or someone's short notice, I would love to do it again.
Yeah, see, it wasn't that weird.
No, I thought I was gonna be more nervous, but then we started just chatting.
Yeah, and like,
yeah, it's all good.
And that was like one of the problems I had. Like, when I started doing this, people were like, "Oh, I don't want to talk in front of a camera," and it's like, but you get used to it. Yeah. Like, once, and like, I don't care.
There.
Yeah, you forget that it's there, and you kind of forget that it's there. Like, you keep bumping into it, which is okay. But like, I'm not strict on my show. You can drink. Like, people, like, if people don't bring their own drinks, I have a shelf full of whiskey and alcohol. I offer
Loosen
people.
your right up.
Yeah, I offer people
That's
to
awesome.
smoke, and it's like, I don't care. Like, it's me.
Yo,
Me. Like,
yeah.
I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
And like, you had a beer.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's relaxing. It's what I like to do.
Therapeutic. It's awesome. It's a good hobby.
It's not, a lot of people don't have a place where they can sit down and talk to people.
Yeah.
And I like it because I learn a lot about other people, and just like my new slogan, life is more about than just my experience. It's about all of our experience. And so I feel I get the most out of life by learning from other people and getting their experience, and I can share that with the world.
I love it. That's awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe, and enjoy your new year. Today is December 31st. Happy New Year. Tiptoe very carefully into 2022.
If you're in Russia, das vidanya.
Das Lavanya.
I think that's goodbye.
Is that like the only thing in Russian you know?
The only thing I know.
I'll accept it. We'll end it on that good note. All right, guys. Love you. Have a good night.
Happy New Year.